Hello everyone and welcome to Laura's Shelf, a place for cooking, crafting, parenting and reading. Although I will admit at the moment it's a bit more parenting than it is anything else. Today I'm going to be talking about the fourth trimester and how you can do it with a village. Like I have some of the difficulties and some of the things that you may need to consider, things that I didn't consider when I was planning for my postpartum. She is currently in the washing basket and is having a lot of fun in there. So it's just, she's now starting to sit up, so it's one of the activities that's very supportive for her. She doesn't like laying down or doing anything on the floor that much. So this is one way to keep her entertained. So let me just grab up my notes. So the first things first is when you're thinking about how you're going to do it without a village, is you do need to plan it. So we knew straight away that we weren't actually going to have that much support, so it's just mainly going to be Kieran and I. Because my parents live down in Victoria, so we're based up in Brisbane. And so they're down in Victoria, down in Melbourne, and Kieran's parents, while they're half an hour away, so they're fairly close and we see them fairly often, they've got their own things that they have to deal with on a daily basis, so it wasn't going to be it was going to be fair enough to ask them to keep coming up every day to help us out with Soph. So one of the things there was we knew it was just going to be us two. We were quite lucky in the beginning. Kieran was actually working from home, and even now he's still working from home, so today he's actually working from home. So that's helped a lot. That really actually has helped us more than we expected. But a lot of it you still have to do it yourself. So even though Kieran is here, I still have to do a lot of things myself. He did take her for an hour today, which was really helpful because then I could get some stuff ready for us moving, because we are in the process of moving. So some days I get that time, other days I don't. So it's all about how to mentally plan for not having a little bit of break until they go to sleep. We've been very lucky. Soph has always slept pretty well. In the last month or so, last couple of weeks, it's not been so great. But we've got so many changes at the moment that we can't expect it for it to be great. But you do need to be flexible in how you actually do things. I always suggest, and I need to stop doing this myself, is don't give yourself a huge to-do list. For me, especially in the beginning, it was okay if I can keep her well fed, changed, clean, happy, well content, not just happy. And then maybe do the washing or maybe do the cooking, that was plenty. But since she was able to be a little bit more independent, I kind of kept giving myself a longer list. And that's where I've gone wrong, is trying to give myself too much to do. So my big thing is when you're planning your postpartum, plan to not do too much. The next thing for number 2 is expect the worst days and plan how you're actually going to deal with them. This is also something I have not done, and I have not done very well. I'm still thinking about how to actually do this. I'm more experiencing the bad days in the last couple of weeks than I have done since Soph has been born. And it has been quite difficult for me to kind of cognitively think about everything and think everything through, and I get very emotional, so that's actually been really hard for me. Today's been a pretty good day. I've managed to take it a little bit slowly. She went down an hour later last night and then slept an hour extra this morning, so that also helped. So we all got to lay in until 7, so just that itself was quite good. And she was still waking up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night, but it was easier to deal with today, it seems. So work out strategies for how you're going to do things, whether it's just how you can actually have some time by yourself while your baby is playing. I've actually done a face mask while she was sleeping in the carrier on me. I did my nails yesterday while she was in the carrier. Even right now, she's in the washing basket and I'm able to do this, and this is actually helping me process through some of the things that I'm actually going through. So plan how you're going to do that. I'm also not journaling at the moment. Normally I try and journal when I'm having some rough times. That seems to be the only time I do journal, is when I'm having rough times. But because it's all packed up and I don't want to buy another notebook, it's a bit harder to journal. So this is also my way of journaling. So really and truly, think about how you're going to deal with the bad days. And that will also evolve, because sometimes you've got to think about how you're going to plan for the bad days while you're with your child as well. So there's a couple of things you've got to think about there. Number 3 is work on your communication. So if it is the two of you, so if it is you and your partner, if it's you and your mum, if it's you and a friend, if you are doing it all by yourself, kudos. I am amazed at the fact that you can do this without much support. It's just amazing. That's just amazing. But if you do have that one extra person, so for me it's Kieran, work out how you're going to communicate. And there will be communication breakdowns, there will be times where you're just getting annoyed at each other, and also working through that. That is always an ongoing process. Having a child's sleep deprivation, different expectations, that is going to affect things no matter how hard you try. So do keep working on your communication. It's not going to be the same every day, but you do need to keep that open communication. You do need to let them know when you are having a rough day. I struggle with that at times, and then I just get moody and then just flip, and doesn't help anyone. So trying to work on that as well. But you're just constantly trying to work out how to do things with a little one around, and it is a complete different change. It's a whole different lifestyle change. But it can be done. It's just a process, but you've got to work on it, and Kieran and I will be working on this for the rest of our lives. It's not going to change. Things aren't just going to change overnight. You've just got to keep working on things, and how life just throws you different curveballs the entire time. Number 4 is take it slow. So taking it slow really helped me, especially in the beginning. So Soph and I didn't actually leave the house by ourselves until she was about 2.5 months old, and it was just to a local shopping centre. When we did do it, I actually took the carrier wrap, so just a little wrap, so that I knew that if she was tired, she didn't sleep in the pram at that point, so I knew I could just wrap her up and she'd be fine for like an hour. And that's exactly what happened. She got a little bit funny, I wrapped her up, good to go for another hour. Yeah. So that also, having those strategies really helped me. Now we only left the house I think at 7 days, and then at 2 weeks with Kira, and then again at 6 weeks for her hospital appointments. So that also helped. We did take our time a little bit. So 7 days was with, doctor's appointments, not hospital appointments, doctor's appointments. So 7 days and 6 weeks was doctor's appointment. At 3 weeks we went to Kieran's parents, and Soph met her cousins and some aunties and an uncle as well. So we took it slowly, and I think that goes back to how you plan it, is to be really chilled. So we actually didn't have that many people visit us in the first 6 weeks or so. Haven't really had that many people actually visit us. So we had, at the 1 week mark from when she was actually brought home, we had Kieran's parents in the morning or early afternoon, and then in the late afternoon we had one of Kieran's friends who brought us. It was lovely for her to meet Soph. They've met her quite a few times now, and they even brought food, which was lovely, and I'll talk about some of the food stuff in a minute. But even just how you're looking at your house, whether getting dishes done, getting washing done, just try and aim for one thing a day if you can. If you can't, just expect it to be a mess. We're currently living in the lounge room, so our bed is a sofa as well, so we've got the futon. Soph's crib is actually here, and we actually need to take that down because we're just using the mattress at the moment for her. We've obviously got our kitchen table and our bench. So this is our living space at the moment because we are in the process of moving. So that's actually helped a little bit because there's not really too, we have to keep the space nice and clean, nice and tidy. Kieran does a quick 5-minute, oh my god, it's messy, clean up at the end of each day, which really helps things, and I'm very appreciative of it. So appreciative. We also don't actually have that many things for us. We've literally got a laptop each, a Kobo each, phones each. Soph has her play gym and a washing basket. And I think that's actually helped as well, is not having a big space. We also have a designated space for her to play on. So taking it slowly, being able to just be in this area, be in that area, really, really helps. And I think I kind of went off topic there, but that's okay. So number 5 is take what you can. So this is with any help that anyone offers you, whether it's bringing meals, whether it's cleaning for you, whether you decide to hire it yourself. So if we do decide to have a second, I will be getting probably a cleaner and maybe even a postpartum doula to come and maybe do some meals. We were very lucky this time that our friend, she made us some food which lasted us 2 weeks. So I had already pre-prepared a week's worth of food, a week's worth of dinners, which also really helped us. But that second and third week really, really helped us just to get us on our feet. By about 3 weeks, 4 weeks old, I was able to start cooking again, which was really nice. It was still very simple. Hey! It was still very simple. So by the time Soph was like 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old, I was actually able to start cooking a little bit more, and that really helped. But just having those prepared meals, she made us a bunch of snacks and lactation cookies. They were not only yummy, but they were also really helpful. So especially in midnight when you are feeding, you are starving, it really helps having those snacks. So think about even just some of the snacks that you may want to prepare yourself, and prepare yourself enough snacks for a good 6 weeks. That would be my recommendation there. That really does help. But I'm not very good at I'm not someone that is very good at asking for help, especially when it comes to my household. So I wasn't able to do that. As I said, I think next time I may actually get someone in to do some cleaning, even just the gardening. Kieran and I are struggling, Kieran's struggling to find some time to, that's on a motorbike, to do some of the gardening as well, especially with moving. So take what you can, when you can, be thankful, but also look at hired help. That would be something I would definitely do next time. Number 6 is rest when baby sleeps. So especially in the first few weeks, the first 40 days, you can look into that kind of idea. You're obviously still going to be bleeding no matter what, so you do need to rest. You've got a huge wound where the placenta was. So even though no one can see it, you've still got to be able to heal. You still need to take it slowly. So everything can be left. If it doesn't get done, it doesn't get done, and you just have to deal with that, unfortunately. But resting and being physically and mentally well will actually help you. So I rested a lot better in the first few weeks than I am right now. So yesterday I did actually have a little lie down with Soph for her last little nap, and that really helped. So even lying down with some of the naps, resting, I think I listened to a podcast while we were just resting, and that was awesome. And that's something I need to start doing again, because I am trying to get too much stuff done. Hopefully after this move we can actually start to relax a little bit more, which is what I'm really hoping for. So number 7, eat good food. Food is such an important part of pregnancy, and I don't think it's talked enough and discussed enough for your postpartum. So I followed this word, and I'll put it below. I don't actually know how to pronounce it, but a lot of it's eating hot food, warm food, hot food. So it was the idea from the First 40 Days book, which I'll also link below. It was amazing to actually work out what kind of food I wanted to eat. I knew seaweed soup, myeokguk in Korean, seaweed soup, was used for postpartum, and that's why they have it on birthdays, so it's normally called birthday soup. I had a lot of that. I've started eating that again just to, feel a little bit better. But look at how you're preparing your meals, looking at whole foods, looking at what nutrients you're getting from the foods. Something I will definitely look into once everything settles down is a nutritionist or dietitian to work out some of my food stuff. Yeah. Looking into a nutritionist or a dietitian just to give me some more ideas about how to do it. We do have more of a vegetarian diet, so sometimes trying to get a bit more of the non-heme, I think that's how. So I am actually only a part-time vegetarian. When we do go out for lunches or dinners, that's when I do actually tend to eat meat, more chicken than anything else. So I got some chicken in the hospital, and it was like literally like chicken, it was mashed potatoes, it was some beans, broccoli and cauliflower, and then it was gravy. And I can tell you, it was like one of the best meals I've had. It was simple. And so for the first week, that's what we had, but instead of chicken, we just had some of the soy patties that you can get. And that just fed us both. It filled all those little gaps, and just having the gravy was amazing. But I had all hot food for the first 6 weeks, or warm food. So I didn't have any smoothies. Instead, we would make porridge. But in those porridge, we would add different things. So we'd add like linseed, we'd add chia seeds, we add dates, we added blueberries, we added peanut butter. Oh no, I didn't add peanut butter. Kieran added peanut butter. But we made sure it was like quite nutritionally dense. Oats is, of course, is one of the foods for lactation. And I'd also add some brewer's yeast. So even though there's no, I think the oats has some research behind it backing it for lactation, brewer's yeast is one of those that's a bit iffy. But it made me feel good. So that was one of the main things, and just having those hot foods was really nice. Is there anything else I need to do? So when I was starting to prep meals, that was when Soph was in the carrier. So she was asleep, and so she wasn't moving. I don't think I would prepare food. Sophia. I don't think I'd be preparing food while she was awake with a knife in my hand, but because she was so small, she was pretty sleepy, and preparing food in the rough was actually quite easy to do. Bless you. It was like also one of the only times that I could prepare food. So that was one of the ways that we could make sure that we were getting nutritious food and getting some of those whole vegetables in as well. So the last thing is just making sure you do actually enjoy this time. So they're not small forever. I found that it's been harder in the last month or so than it was in the very beginning. We actually went through a period where Soph was sleeping through the night. Then she was waking up once a night. Now it's about 3 or 4 times a night. And that's just what happens. That's just development. She'll get there again. It may take 2 years. It may take another month. We just don't know. So I think some of that has that to do with it as well. And I always said I didn't like her sleeping through the night. I wanted her to keep waking up because I didn't want to get used to it. And I think that's exactly what happened. But I honestly tried to do too much too soon. Because you get to the point where you're like, I've got these things to do, and you try and do them and you just can't. Even just trying to film this, it's been a little bit harder to film it. But one of the things I am trying to do is I am trying to be present in the moment, even though right now I'm kind of not. And enjoying this time. So she's not this small forever. One day she will be running around and I won't be able to keep hold of her, kind of thing. And also at some point she will become a bit more independent. And so I think that's also where my mentality is going, and it's quite hard at the moment because she is still very dependent on me. So for a while she was actually able to play by herself. And like I did Christmas puddings just before Christmas, and she was fine playing by herself for like half an hour while I did that. Now it's hard to leave her for 2 minutes. At the moment I can't pee. I go to the toilet, the door is open, she is just on her tummy time on the bedroom floor. And that is how I get stuff done. So I think that's also changed a few things, where there was a stage where I was able to get stuff done and now I can't. So that's what also my mentality is going as well. In terms of doing it without a village, yes, it is a bit harder. It was nice. We spent 4 days with Kieran's parents and we actually got to eat at the same time. So Kieran's dad once had finished his lunch and I can go, can you please hold her while we eat our lunch? And he did. So that'll be good. I'm hoping my parents will be able to do the same when we meet up with them with camping. not too often, but just, you know, once or twice where we're not trying to hold her and just work out how to do everything. So sometimes that's a bit of an issue. I have been lucky because Kieran has been working from home. Most of the time he's only been away probably a total like 10 working days. He's actually been in the office, so that's probably helped us a lot. But still, I have to do things by myself. I can't rely on him to help because he still has to earn a living. And I've been very spoiled in the last few weeks because he actually has taken some time off. So readjusting back to that has been quite hard for me. But anyway, what else do I want to say? So probably the last things is you do have to plan it. It will be hard. There are some moments where I'm like, I could never do this again. Some moments where you can go, yeah, I could do a second kid. But it goes between, depending on my day and the moment. One of the things I do have to keep reminding myself is this too shall pass. And just some of those mantras that will really help me and help me in the first 3 months. I've now got to remember them again. But it has been fun. I don't want to say that it hasn't been fun because it definitely has been. But I should wrap this up. She's now getting a bit fussy. So if you're interested in anything else that, you know, I'm just going to keep sharing things. This is actually very therapeutic for me. Just being able to edit some of the videos is therapeutic for me. So it's been a lot of fun doing this. So if you want to see us adding more, follow along. But otherwise, enjoy your day. And we'll see you next time.